I apologize for the quality of this video. This is to help a friend who's learning how to crochet and we don't live anywhere close to each other. Maybe this will help her and possibly somebody else. This is my version of a beginning crocheted hat. The first thing that you need to do is to go onto a site like Pinterest and find a chart that has the measurements for hats, and there's tons of them. They have them from preemie to adult. After you found that chart, it will tell you the inches, and you just pick up your yarn and your hook and chain until you have that length. I'm using DK weight yarn and a G hook, but you can use any size yarn you want with the appropriate size hook. It will always tell you on the yarn what size hook is appropriate for that yarn. First, you chain that amount. Sorry again, guys. We can get the camera to hold still and stay there. Maybe you can see it. But you chain the amount that you need. I'm, of course, not going to go do a full-size hat here. I'm just going to chain a few so that you can see what you need to do. And then, when you have the length that you need, you'll see that the chain has the front that has like little loops. Some people call them hearts. But there's little, like, half an infinity symbol. And on the back of it, you have little loops that stick up. See little bumps on the back? When you're done chaining your length, do one extra chain, and then go back through the bumps on the back of the chains. So here you have the little half an infinity sign, and then you have the bump on the back. And you go through that, and you just single crochet back down that chain. You get back to the bottom. And on this hat, at the end of every row, you always chain one. That allows you to turn the work, and you don't get a kind of stuck and lopsided looking hat. That's all you do is you chain back. Now, I'm going to switch to a hat I'm already working on to show you what you do next. You will see that I've gotten pretty far on this hat. And I'm going to show you how to make this really cool ribbed, stretchy material. See how much it stretches? That makes it really nice, but yet, even though it stretches, it doesn't really get large gaps in it, so it keeps the head warm. Let me show you now. Oh, extreme close-up here. Use the black yarn so you can see what I'm doing. You have your row. Let's pretend you're back at the beginning, and you have your row of single crochets all the way down. When you go back, you're going to notice that there is a front loop. Let me see if I can do this. You're going to notice there is a front loop. And if I turn it, you should be able to see that there is a back loop too. So there's a front loop and a back loop. See those little half of an infinity signs again? And you can see the front and the back loop. You're always going to go down the back loop. You're not going to go through, most of the time we tell you to go through both loops, which when you do that, that looks like that. You're sticking your hook through both loops. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to go into the back loop. Can you see that? I've gotten right through the center of that little infinity. Let's just pretend that I'm at the end. I don't want to have to move this hat around a lot because it keeps making the focus change. Sorry about that. I know it's bouncy and the focus is changing, but all you do is you go into the back loop. This is awkward, sorry guys. Trying to keep my hands in the camera, which is a very small area. And you do a single crochet. And you do that all the way down the row. This is like trying to rub your tummy and pat your head at the same time. We go all the way down the row in the back loops. Can you see how? I don't know if I can get my big hand out of the way. Can you see how, with it not focusing, that there's front loops hanging out there? And you've put the single crochets in the back. You go all the way down the row. And then you turn it around. And you start back. And you go into the back loop again. With the black here, it'd be really hard to see. But let's pretend this is the row I've just crocheted. And you're going back into that back loop again. And you just do that until you have the circumference of the head. And you just lay out your fabric that you've crocheted. And I guess the black yarn's going to come along for the ride here. Lay out the fabric that you've crocheted and measure it from side to side. Once you have it the circumference you need, and this one's nowhere close to it, but I'm hoping you get the idea from this. You put the two sides together, match them up, and then just whip stitch the two edges together. But when you whip stitch them together, I'm going to use the hook to show you. Pretend this is a needle. When you whip stitch the two edges together, you're going to go into the back loop of both of them. Instead of going through both loops, you don't go through the full half of the infinity sign like that and like that. That doesn't work. It would make a funny chunky seam. You want to just go through the back loops of both of them like that. And you stitch them all the way down. Once you have it stitched all the way down, you have a tube. Let's pretend like we have this all sewn up. And you have this long tube. Well, you have a tube. And that doesn't work so well to keep your head warm if the top isn't. You have two choices for closing up the top. Around the edge of the top, you can see that there are every other row, these little things that stick up, little like extra loops that stick up. That's your turning chain. You can take a long piece of yarn, thread it through a needle, and go all the way through all of those, just going into the loop. Again, let's pretend this is a needle. Oh, it wanted an extreme close-up that time. Pretend this is a needle, and you're going just through here, and then you're going through the next one, and you're going through the next one, and you just go all the way around, and then you just pull it tight, like a drawstring on a hoodie. Once you get it all the way around, you just pull it tight, and it will have a little tiny hole in the middle, and you can either make a pom-pom. Lots of YouTube videos on how to make pom-poms. They're really easy, and that's always fun. You can make it out of the same color or maybe a contrasting color, whatever you want to do, and then just tie the pom-pom over the hole, because if you make your pom-pom with long enough tails, you can just poke them through on either side of the hole that's left. There's another way to close it up, but I can't show you that until I get this hat finished. So look for part 2. Thanks for your patience with my very amateur video.